Recently, I've just been on YouTube watching videos when some freaky ads just pop up out of nowhere, or some sort of like drug related company ad just sort of pops up on my stream, and it's been getting kind of annoying. And then you could say that I warrant these sort of ads, but honestly, I'm thinking the opposite. I'd actually try to avoid watching freaky videos so I don't get these sort of weird ads. I also don't want to look like a gooner on my homepage and whatnot. I also don't really watch anything that's drug related for the most part, so that sort of stuff also doesn't really make sense and feels kind of out of place. So I decided to try to investigate what exactly brings up these sort of freaky and drug related ads by going on to a couple of incognito tabs and trying to speed run to see how quickly I can find these sort of ads on YouTube. The first tab was the freaky tab, where I looked up something that I thought would get a pretty weird and freaky ads the fastest. The second tab was by looking up like kids related stuff to see how this might affect like a child. And then the third one was to see just how quickly I could get these ads without using the search feature at all. How quickly I can get these sort of freaky advertisements on like a brand new account. So there's no search history, there's no anything else that would really affect it. And I couldn't really think of a way to get drug related ads. So these were the three main tests that I did. And you'll probably just have to trust me that I've seen some like rogue ads, which is a type of tobacco chew and stuff. But for the first one, I looked for a freaky ad by looking up Sophie Rain, which is a famous person that's known for doing like softcore sort of like porn stuff on YouTube and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, it took like 10 seconds before I found some sort of like AI girlfriend thing.
This morning I woke up.
Bro, put
So that was already a bit of a red flag. I mean, it's not complete nudity, but it's not really something that I would want to see as an advertisement like on my YouTube when I'm just like scrolling along. And I don't normally look up like Sophie Rain and stuff, but like in general, like these are the sort of ads that just sort of randomly pop up, and it's been kind of getting on my nerves. For the second one, I started by looking up brain rot terms like boo and Italian brain rot and stuff, and it took a good bit longer, but it still only took about 2 minutes and 25 seconds before I found another AI sort of girlfriend ad. That is, and even considering the loosely sexual videos on the subjects I was looking up. So there'd be like some weird video where I looked up Labubu or whatever, and there'd just be all this weird stuff. But I was still able to find a freaky ad, and what I assume the average like 5-year-old like looks up on YouTube in under 2.5 minutes, which just seems kind of crazy. Anyway, for the final attempt, was not using the search bar at all, and I found a pregnant Zootopia ad. An entire minute faster than when I was looking up the brain rot stuff. Which I mean, it's probably better that not looking up anything, so just having a complete blank history is faster than having stuff that like kids would look up. But I mean, it's still insane because I mean, you have to think about it this way: if someone who doesn't really know about the search feature is just kind of like watching videos, Not really expecting much. And then they have this like weird like AI girlfriend ad or like a pregnant Zootopia ad. That's gonna be pretty freaky for them and kind of scary, I would imagine. This was honestly terrifying because it shows it takes less than 3 minutes until a random kid can just sort of stumble upon these AI girlfriend like malware sort of stuff. Later, I did end up actually trying to click on one of these ads because I kind of forgot to check it when I was doing the original check and like recording all that stuff. And it brought me to this like random game like download scam site sort of thing. So, more likely than not, if a kid like clicks on one of those sort of ads, it's probably just gonna like bring them to like some sort of thing where you can like it might not directly download malware or virus to their computer, but it's gonna be like going. They're gonna go down a rabbit hole because like, oh look, there's free games and stuff, and they're just eventually probably gonna get something on their like computer and stuff. And then it feels weird that it's targeted towards kids with all those games as well. I didn't actually really try to download any of this stuff, so I mean, it could be perfectly fine. But I mean, when you're seeing like Minecraft for free or like free Robux and stuff, like those sort of scam thingies are pretty clear that there's probably something wrong with them. After doing these sort of like speedrun thingies, I decided to see just how bad it could get if I just left it running. So like if I kept clicking on all the weird videos and if I just like found all this really weird stuff and just seeing how freaky all the ads could get and even to see like if I could find some like the rogue ads that I was talking about. But it honestly got really weird. So I don't really recommend doing this. But anyways, there were all these insane sort of like fetish content and this isn't exaggerating. It literally had like foot fetish, ASMR and stuff in the title of it. So it was definitely 100% fetish content that I just sort of randomly stumbled upon. I probably also sort of because every once in a while, like there would be all these freaky videos, and then there'd be like someone's feet, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. So then I'd click it, go to the channel, click all the other videos. So that probably also kind of poisoned my stream towards more fetish content. But I mean, it's still insane to think about how if someone's just like watching some like freaky content, how quickly it can sort of avert and go into fetish sort of weird stuff. And like one of the weirdest ones were these sexualized smoking YouTube channels with like smoking ASMR and like all these people that are like whispering and stuff as they smoke and that was a whole nother rabbit hole. But it is also a good segue to talk about some of the chew ads that I've been seeing on YouTube, like on my own page, because I wasn't really able to find any of them while like scrolling through YouTube. But recently, I've been seeing dozens of ads that are basically like energy drink ads, but for chew, which is a form of tobacco, where basically you just put it in your mouth. And some of them are like lozenges and stuff. But like basically, it's just straight tobacco, and it's meant for adults. But in the way that it's advertised, it seems like oh, it's exciting, it's tasty, and all this stuff like makes you look cool, and it feels really weird.
Brought to you by Rogue.
Hi, I'm Tom Segura, and I'm here at Texas Drift Academy, and today I'm going to learn how to drift.
It's kind of like all those like cigarette ads from like decades ago that talk about how smoking is good for you and like how like doctors recommend it and whatnot. But tobacco really isn't good for you. And these newer ones, they do have a pretty big disclaimer. Like normally there'll be like a sort of nicotine or this product contains nicotine. Don't eat it, or I mean, don't like consume it and stuff because it can be bad for you. But I don't necessarily feel like that's enough because I mean, I watch maybe not necessarily like brain rot kids videos, but I don't necessarily watch how to like, smoke and stuff. But like I don't watch stuff that is specifically garnered towards like rogue ads and stuff. But they keep getting advertised to me, which is kind of concerning because I mean I don't really watch stuff that I feel would sort of garner that sort of attention from such a company. Honestly, I'm not sure if it's a guarantee that even though I watch like all this like stuff that's not directed towards kids, that doesn't mean that these ads aren't being directed towards kids. That's just my example because I watch like not the most appropriate stuff. Like I'm just kind of trying to generalize it. Like I imagine it probably sounds kind of weird how I'm describing it, but anyways, I'm watching like all these like Farrell McGuire and like Nick Crowley and stuff, and I would hope that like this isn't being shown to like younger kids, like 5-year-olds and stuff, because I mean they're just gonna see it as an energy drink, most likely. Like even if they can read it, they're probably not gonna be like, oh, that's not good for me, because I mean there's I feel that when I watch the ad, there's no way that most adults who aren't already using nicotine products and stuff, they're not gonna be like, oh, this looks awesome, unless they're either a younger adult or someone in their teens, because at that point they can see like, oh, has nicotine, and I've heard that it's really bad for you, but they can also see the sort of like energy drink sort of advertisement and be like, oh, maybe I'll just have some of it. And I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm sort of exaggerating it a little bit, but it does feel insane because it's not like smoking is bad for you. Like it's sort of as a side thought that smoking is bad for you, and it's used in a way that you'd see like energy drinks, like Celsius or something. That's something that like a whole bunch of like teenagers might drink, and then this is advertised in the same way, and it just doesn't really seem right. They're oversimplifying the product, and they're making it seem like super awesome and stuff. And I don't feel like this would work as well for like younger kids below 12 and stuff, because they're probably not as interested in like being like, oh, I'm gonna look super cool, I'm gonna have all this energy and whatnot. But for like teenagers and stuff, I feel like this would be like really effective product marketing, because they're like, oh, there's all these cool people like using it and stuff, and it just doesn't really sit right with me, you know? Especially after having like decades upon decades of tobacco companies just sort of lying to us in advertisement, and it's just having all these like laws set in place. I'll probably have to do a little more research on the legality of it all, but having all these laws in place so that then children aren't using these sort of products, but then having advertisements like this, which aren't, oh, we're so innocent, we're not trying to garner kids' attentions, but the way that they're advertising it, like, you know that an adult is probably gonna know, like, what chew is, how it affects you, but they're making it seem like it's this, like, whole brand new technology or whatever, and I don't know. It doesn't really seem right to sort of advertise it in such a way. And, I mean, especially because roughly 10% of high schoolers smoke, as of now, which is a lot lower than it has been in the past. But I feel like with new technology such as like vaping and like e-cigarettes, and then also all these like chew companies advertising, I feel like it could sort of rise in different ways. Like it probably won't be as exponential as it has shrunk down, but I feel like more and more people are just going to be start like using it, like, oh, maybe every once in a while I'll use it, because most people know about the harmful effects of tobacco, but I don't know. As well, I mean, the way that I really remember, because I hadn't really been thinking about trying to find all the drug related stuff. But then when I was like looking at all the smoking fetish content, like that stuff's also really weird. And I mean, I don't mean to mean to people with fetishes, but the sort of smoking fetish sort of content doesn't really seem right, because I've seen other videos where people talk about like all these people that are like literally dying for people's fetishes and whatnot. And I'll probably do like another video in like a week or so. But anyways, like if you guys have any other freaky ads, like I'll probably put up some freaky ads that I've just found in my own downtime, like on the screen right now. But if you guys have like seen any other like really freaky ads, like on your own feeds, and especially on YouTube and stuff, because I feel like some of the other ones like Instagram or I don't know, like X, I guess I don't really use that as much, but some of those like might have a lot more freaky ads. But I feel like with YouTube having all these freaky ads, there's probably gonna be a lot of people that probably shouldn't be seeing these ads, and they're probably going to see them anyways, because it's just such a large spectrum of ads that honestly I don't know if it's going past the YouTube algorithm or if it's just people just pushing stuff. But I feel like especially after having like the minute long ad sort of segments, I feel like YouTube's getting kind of desperate on what they can really sell. And I don't know, it doesn't seem right. So if you guys have any other screenshots that you've taken of all these like weird ads that you see, because I'm imagining that it's probably not just me. I'm imagining there's probably loads of other people that have seen this sort of stuff. But you could probably email it to me on my email, pokepone@gmail.com. And that, please do like and subscribe and write down in the comments your experience with any of this sort of content. And hopefully by the next week, I'll hopefully have like another sort of commentary like this about the sort of weird sort of videos that I saw outside of these advertisements. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.